Hello, everyone. Welcome to FREEWrite Friday. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jessica Lynn Johnson, and I am the founder and the CEO of Soaring Solo Studios, which is a company that's dedicated to developing, directing, and producing one-person plays all over the world. And I work alongside my fellow award-winning solo theater instructor, director, and performer, Heather Dowling. She's the other half of Soaring Solo Studios. And yeah, we're just really blessed to work with people everywhere and help them tell their stories from stage so that we can all heal and transform together through art. And I've been in this field for over 20 years now. And I've helped direct and develop about 200 solo shows at this point and produced hundreds. So yeah, it's my passion. And what else can I tell you? I am a solo artist myself. I toured for over 13 years with my two solo shows, Oblivious to Everyone and Z. I was on the advisory board with the LA Women's Theater Festival for a few years, and now I serve as a director and teaching artist for them. I love that organization. Definitely look them up, the LA Women's Theater Festival. And yeah, that's a little bit about me. I would love to hear more about you. Please feel free to say hello in the chats. Let me know where you're at in your solo theater journey. Maybe you're just showing up kind of curious today. You're not really sure if this is for you. Maybe you're already touring the world with a couple of your solo shows, or maybe you have some ideas jotted down. Wherever you're at in your process is perfectly fine. You are welcome here. And Soaring Solo is all about supportive communities because it can be a really lonely journey if you try to do it alone. So we want to offer our support. And the mission of Free Write Friday is just to create a space for 15 or 20 minutes where we gather together, you get some writing done, and you're just making writing a regular part of your creative expression. And if you miss any Free Write Fridays and you want to go back and view them, you can go to my YouTube channel. Just look up Soaring Solo Studios on YouTube, and I'll put the link in the chat a little bit later. And just make sure you have something nearby to write with and write on because we're gonna jump in. So the talking point of today, and I'll actually probably extend this for the next few Free Write Fridays as well, because it's really intriguing to me, is the therapy model called internal family systems. I don't know if you've heard of that or not, IFS, but it's really interesting the way that IFS complements character development in solo theater. We've actually been talking about that in my small group coaching recently. And so I'll break that down for you so that makes a little more sense. But internal family systems is basically a type of therapy that believes that we are all made up of several parts or like sub personalities. The founder of that was Dr. Richard Schwartz, and he thought of the mind as an inner family. So each of us in our minds has an inner family made up of these sub personalities. And the underlying concept of this theory is essentially that we all have these parts living within us, and that fulfills both healthy and unhealthy roles in our lives. So the self is the part of those subpersonalities that we're going to focus on. The self, or in other words, the true self, the true essence of who we actually are. And in IFS, this is broken down into 8 C's and 5 P's. So I'm going to go through that. So the 8 C's are confidence, calmness, creativity, clarity, curiosity, courage, compassion, and connectedness. And I'll put this in the chat as well. And then the 5 P's are presence, patience, perspective, persistence, and playfulness. So again, confidence, calmness, creativity, clarity, curiosity, courage, compassion, connectedness, presence, patience, perspective, persistence, playfulness. So the idea is that your core self, who you truly are, is made up of those things when not infiltrated or affected by the negative voices in our head, the negative sub personalities. So I'm going to put all those in the chat since we are focusing on the core self, the true self today. And what I want you to do, I'm going to set my timer for 8 minutes. And what I want you to write about is your relationship to your core self, your true self. So when you look at all those different components, the 8 C's and the 5 P's, and even to simplify it, when you just think of yourself when you're totally in alignment, when you feel really like you're in your essence of who you actually are, what does that look like for you? Maybe in grad school or something like that, you really felt in alignment with yourself. Or maybe when you're creating art or performing, you really feel like you're your true self. Maybe when you're in meditation or doing yoga or something, you feel like you're accessing your true self. Or that might feel really foreign to you and you don't feel like you've discovered who that true self is yet. And that could be something to write about as well, or even a fantasy monologue of what your true self, your core self could look like. So I'm going to set the timer for 8 minutes and I want you to just write whatever comes up for you when you think about your true self, your core self, and these really lovely characteristics, what comes up for you around that. And in Free Write Friday, we don't share our writing. So this is just for you. This is just an opportunity to explore this concept of your core self, your who you truly are. Okay, so I will let you know when your 8 minutes are up, and happy writing. Just about 3.5 minutes left. 3.5 minutes. And just about a minute left. 1 minute. Okay, that is time. So please go ahead and wrap up your writing. And at least one takeaway from today's exercise, I mean, solo theater is all about authenticity. And whether you're playing yourself or you're playing a historic figure or a celebrity or a fantasy character, still trying to find the authenticity of that protagonist. And so, this idea of identifying your true self is a really important aspect of solo theater. And, solo shows really have, I think, the unique power to really inspire and encourage not only ourselves, but the audience as we talk about what we've been through, what we've lived through, what we've survived and thrived after. Some practical ways that writing about your true self could play out in your actual show. For example, you could write a monologue from your true self's perspective, kind of telling you where you're out of alignment and what still remains available to you, what you can grow into, what your future could hold for you if you are brave enough to step into the essence of who you truly are. You could have a conversation with your true self. Maybe they're encouraging you to do things that are scary and outside of your comfort zone, but you need to take a leap of faith. So maybe it's a dialogue between your true self and you. What else? It could also serve as just an inspiration for the ending of your show. Maybe we watch you go through a lot of obstacles along the way, and by the end of the show, you're really stepping into alignment with your true self and who you are. So those are just some practical applications for how this concept could play out in the script. If you look in the if you look in the announce or in the chat, you'll see I'm putting some announcements for what's going on in the Soaring Solo community right now. Let's see. So the next free offering I have is called The Art of Creating the One Person Play. This is a free 90-minute class that I do on Saturdays once a month. So the next one is happening Saturday, September 13th at 10 a.m. Pacific, noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. It's on Zoom. You can RSVP on my website under free stuff. And if you ever wanted to work with Heather or myself in a more professional capacity, you can always reach out to me through the contact form on soaringSoloStudios.com or email soaringsoloartist@gmail.com. And we can set up an initial consultation or have you jump in some small group coaching sessions, or we have a lot of different offerings. So best thing to do is just reach out to me and we can figure out what is the best fit for you. Heather and I also produce an event called Revealed, and Revealed is a series of works in progress, solo shows that get read on Zoom for a virtual audience, so that we can get feedback on what is and isn't working about the script before you go through all the trouble of putting it on stage and adding all the technical bells and whistles and all of that. You want to make sure that you have a really solid script. So the Revealed virtual reading series is a wonderful way to test that out. So if you're interested in putting a stake in the ground and participating in Revealed, it's ongoing and we coordinate with your schedule and ours. Just pop me an email and we can talk about that. And if you enjoyed today and you want to come back as we continue to explore the internal family systems and how it applies to discovering characters in your solo show, you can join me again on Friday, September 19th. We'll meet at 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 11:30 Central, and 12:30 Eastern. And again, if you miss it, no worries. You can go to my YouTube channel and watch the replay where this is going to end up after we're done today. And my YouTube channel has hundreds of videos, guided visualization and meditations to help prompt you into creative writing. So there's that, there's tutorials, there's testimonials, there's all kinds of feedback from people within the Soaring Solo community speaking about their creative process. So it's just, there's a lot of stuff there to help you on your journey. So be sure to visit and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I also talk a lot about the festival circuit. I think as a solo artist, it's really important to be involved in different festivals, whether they're specifically solo theater festivals or just theater festivals in general. So the Binge Fringe Festival over at the Santa Monica Playhouse typically takes place in the fall, and they take submissions in the summer. That's a wonderful one. It's grant funded by the city of Santa Monica. I've had clients actually from all over the US go and take part in it, even if they're not Los Angeles based. So that's really wonderful. There's the Hollywood Fringe Festival, which we, always have at least like a dozen soaring solo people minimally who participate in that every June. It's a wonderful festival as well. The LA Women's Theater Festival, which I mentioned earlier, has been around for over 30 years. And then there's the Soaring Solo Stars series, which Heather and I co-produce. That's going to be happening the last week of October and first week of November this year, with encores sometime after that. What else? United Solo is in New York City. They have a spring and a fall showcase. It's the largest solo theater festival in the world. And then of course, Edinburgh Fringe Festival, where I have a couple of clients finishing out their run over in Scotland right now. And that's a massive, massive theater festival and arts festival as well. So those are just a few. There's so many, but the point is get yourself involved in a festival. It's a wonderful stake to put in the ground so that you're working toward a goal that is meaningful and that raises the stakes for your creativity. And it also has built-in deadlines and accountability and community and all of those sorts of things. So festivals are a wonderful way to build your laurels, get reviews from audiences and critics alike, and just get your show up on its feet in a meaningful way. And lastly, I also put or not lastly, I have two more points. I put my blog for NoHo Arts. I write a monthly blog called Soaring Solo. I put the link for that in the chat as well. So if you just go to the NoHo Arts website and look up Soaring Solo, you'll find all my blogs with a lot of information about solo theater. And then the last thing is we have a special event being taught by Heather, who I mentioned at the beginning of our session today. Heather Dowling, award-winning director for solo theater, award-winning solo performer. She's teaching an in-person event called Solo Up, meaning get up on your feet and get to work on your solo show. It's in person, so if you're in the Los Angeles area, you can join us for that on September 6th and 13th, 10 a.m. to noon. It's at a acting studio in the Valley. And we'll send you the exact location when you sign up, but you can sign up on Eventbrite or through my website. And yeah, it's just an opportunity to work with Heather in person on your characters or on your script. You can improvise if you'd like. Lots of different ways to approach it, but it's for the purpose of being in person in community and getting to get up on your feet and work on your show. So with that, I'm going to conclude today, but I will leave the chat up for a few more moments in case you're jotting things down. Feel free to email me if you had any questions at all that came up today. And again, if you'd like to work with Heather or myself in a more professional capacity, just pop me an email and we'll talk about it. All right, please have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for joining.